A desolate, fog-covered road at night, surrounded by towering trees. The dim glow of a flickering streetlight barely illuminates the cracked pavement. An old, rusted sign stands crooked, partially covered in moss, reading, "Welcome to Hollow Creek." A dark silhouette of a man standing motionless in the middle of the foggy road. His face is obscured by shadows, but his piercing white eyes glow faintly. His clothes are tattered and his presence feels unnatural, almost otherworldly. Inside an old car, a lone driver grips the steering wheel tightly, staring wide-eyed at the figure on the road. The dashboard lights cast an eerie glow on his tense face. The radio emits static, and the fuel gauge flickers erratically. The car's headlights suddenly shut off, leaving only darkness and the heavy mist. The driver frantically turns the key, but the engine makes a choking sound before going silent. The figure outside remains still, watching. The driver gasps as a skeletal hand with elongated fingers slowly presses against the fogged-up window. The fingers scrape downward, leaving streaks of condensation and dirt behind. The driver glances away for a split second, heart racing. When he looks back, the figure is gone, but the mist outside grows thicker, swirling unnaturally around the car. Inside the car, eerie whispers fill the air. They sound like voices overlapping, speaking in an ancient, indecipherable language. The driver clutches his head, squeezing his eyes shut as the whispers grow louder. Dark, inky shadows slither across the fog, moving like living entities. They twist and coil, creeping closer to the car, forming shapes that resemble ghostly figures with hollow, screaming mouths. The car's radio suddenly blares to life, playing an old, distorted tune from the 1940s. The driver frantically tries to turn it off, but the dial spins on its own, changing stations to a deep, raspy voice whispering, "You shouldn't have stopped." The driver looks into the rearview mirror, his breath hitching. In the reflection, a pale, grinning figure sits in the back seat, its head twitching unnaturally, eyes black as voids. A slow, deliberate click echoes through the silent car as the doors unlock one by one. The driver's trembling hand reaches for the lock button, but before he can react, the back seat creaks. The driver slowly turns his head toward the back seat. His face is drenched in sweat, pupils dilated with fear. But the back seat is empty. The figure is gone. The car's passenger door suddenly swings open violently, as if by an invisible force. The mist outside spills into the vehicle like an unnatural wave, cold and suffocating. From the swirling fog, a decayed, bony hand with jagged nails emerges, reaching toward the driver. Its skin is stretched tight over the bones, and it twitches as if controlled by an unseen force. The driver screams in terror, shoving the door closed and scrambling to restart the car. His breath comes in ragged gasps as he twists the key furiously. With a loud sputter, the car finally roars to life. But the headlights reveal something horrifying. A line of figures in tattered clothing, standing in the mist, all staring directly at the driver. The driver slams the gas pedal, tires screeching against the pavement as he speeds down the road. The fog twists unnaturally in his rearview mirror, distorting the figures as they remain motionless, watching. The driver breathes heavily, glancing at the rearview mirror, relieved to see nothing. But as he exhales, his windshield fogs up, and words appear, written from the inside. "You can't escape." Just as the driver thinks he's safe, the radio crackles once more. A familiar voice whispers, "See you soon," before cutting off into static. The driver realizes something horrifying. The road ahead looks exactly the same as before, looping endlessly. The same streetlight flickers. The same old sign stands at the roadside, "Welcome to Hollow Creek." The camera zooms out, showing the car driving endlessly through the same fog-covered road, stuck in a nightmarish loop. A shadowy figure stands far in the distance, waiting.